What's going on, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of TXR. This is episode number 110. I am your host, Invader, and I hope all my friends in the U.S. had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Definitely been seeing a lot of good times being posted over social media. I also hope everyone stayed safe and sane during Black Friday, as we know how crazy people can get with the shopping deals. No need to tackle somebody for just, $5 off a Nintendo Labo. Just saying, guys, just saying. For tonight's show, we've got a great set of topics lined up. But not only that, we are joined by a passionate community member by the name of Brendan Davis. He's joining us all the way from the UK. Welcome to the show, Brendan. How's it going over there, bud?
It's going good. How are you guys?
Brendan, what time it is over there?
It's right now 2 a.m.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow,
we're 2 minutes behind, so it's 2:02 now. So, yeah, I mean, one thing I could, keep in mind here, of all the things I could say, we could possibly wrong on some stuff here, right? Because we're not experts.
I don't know about that.
Speak for yourself, Brendan.
There's no pressure here. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Downers just let the fame go to his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. What fame, buddy?
I know.
Just speak how you feel.
I appreciate that, guys, because this is my first podcast ever. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Welcome to the
club, baby.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Soon you'll be going to an anonymous meeting saying that you do too many podcasts. So.
Oh well. Okay.
All right, welcome to the world of podcasting, Brennan. We're glad to have you here.
Thanks.
Now, on to introducing the panel. Tim Dog, my passionate Xbox friend. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good. Happy to be here. Another week, another TXR. Got a full crew here. Missing South. He's out on the boardwalk right now, selling something. Who knows?
Slinging in Skittles.
So yeah, he's eating Skittles. Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you, Brennan. You're a passionate guy in the community, and appreciate. Happy to have you for the first podcast of your life.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We'll talk a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Hopefully, I get to talk a lot of stuff.
Seek your mind.
Well,
yeah, I got
we'll
some
give you a
numbers.
little bit. All right, moving on here. Centurion, my friend, how are the festivities down in Arizona?
Oh, they were awesome. We actually got some rain down here in the desert, so that was definitely a change. Black Friday was eventful. Got myself some games and good deals. Bought myself a 12 terabyte hard drive for my Xbox.
Oh, nice.
So I will never run out of data ever again.
I need to get one of those, actually.
Dude, oh my God. Now that I could, because I was having I'm a game hoarder. So that thing has definitely opened up so many doors.
Did you get it on Amazon? How much did you buy it for?
I bought it for $180 from Best Buy.
From Best Buy. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's still on sale or not, but I mean, like, I'm not big on online ordering. I like to be able to walk into the store and buy it. Call me weird.
Nah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Instant gratification.
Was it crowded that day?
Oh yeah, no, me and my wife are diehard Black Friday is actually mellowing out. You can even see that in like a lot of the news articles. People are staying home and ordering online. But
fights?
Oh, dude, not this time. But I remember one year we went to a Walmart and we weren't even there for anything specific. We were there as spectators, and as soon as it hit time, the crowd went nuts. The display of Xbox and PlayStation games got lifted off the floor, and it started crowd surfing. And it's a cardboard display, so it decided to break into a million pieces. Games went everywhere, and about that time, security started screaming at people, and me and my wife were just standing in the background laughing our ass off.
Well, for those who have been a part of Black Friday, it's nuts. It's like free for all.
Oh, it is.
I'm gonna get to the item first. I'm gonna push out of the way.
Shops there all the time.
Oh,
yeah, the store I went through. Yeah, it was crowded. I'll give you that.
Maybe they just do it differently in other parts of the world. I mean, the United States,
just
because
saw
they have lines out here.
I just saw Matt Piscatella's picture of a GameStop, and there was like 2 people in line for that.
Where, in UK or in New York?
No, it's GameStop.
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 Okay.
GameStop is American.
Okay.
I think he lives in America.
GameStop's international, actually.
They go by so many names.
Not in the UK.
Yeah.
I don't think they're in the UK. It's
Yeah, they have EB Games, and then they have I forgot the other name of it, but yeah, they're international. They have some in the UK.
Right, but the stores here are called Game, just Game.
Mm-hmm. Megatron, how's things over there? Did you grab your sandwich?
No, because they're closed.
Wow.
I pulled up to Popeyes. You guys can see he's probably cracking. The lights are out. I'm like, yo, it's only 9:08.
Nah, it was probably
My-
that fucking pick you were wearing, and you scared him.
You know what? If you're after the chicken sandwich, I think all bets are off. I think you could tear the place down if you wanted.
Well, listen, let me tell you. Well, my Thanksgiving was okay, and but the food was So I'm just here at Popeyes for nothing because they're closed. So I'm disappointed right now. So I
You
guess,
probably sold out of those chicken burgers or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I had one the other day.
Breaded. Never mind.
What do you think? It was overrated, Tim? Was it overrated or was it good?
No, it's pretty good. It was. I have to say, it's a good sandwich.
All right.
I mean, do you want to like smash people in the face and get first in line for it? No, but it's definitely, comparing to the chicken sandwiches from fast food, I think it's the best one.
Are Popeyes all over back east over there?
In New York, there is a lot.
New York, New Jersey.
Dude.
Yeah,
Down here, man, I only know of one.
Yeah, California, there's a few. There's a lot of Popeyes.
Not here in Arizona. I only know of one.
Weird. Even in Ontario here, we got a whole bunch. So
I'm pretty sure there's more than one here in Phoenix, but I mean, like, you literally got to go out of your way to find them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that they'll be growing out there too.
all right.
We just got our first White Castle.
Jeremy, you keeping warm over there in the mountains?
Oh yeah, dude, it's cold here. My Thanksgiving was good. I lost 30 pounds when I moved over here, and I gained all that back on Thanksgiving. One day.
It's no longer lost. I found it.
Exactly.
Damn.
You hear me?
Oh yeah. What kind of a name is Jeremy anyway? Sounds like a 90s British boy band's name.
Yeah, pretty weak.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oi, I'm
Yeah.
Jeremy. Let me sing you a love song now. Oi.
Yeah,
Can you guys
Jeremy,
hear me?
we can hear you breathe. too,
Oh my
Jeremy.
god, horrible.
All right, guys, let's move on to our first topic. And just so you know, Southbound and Shock will not be able to make it tonight. They're both helping Santa Claus out, getting ready for the exciting December month. And so going into our topic, and there's been a lot of ruckus on about Xbox head Phil Spencer's comments regarding VR for the Xbox. In a recent interview during the XO19 London event, Phil stated that I have some issues with VR. It's isolating, and I think of games as a communal kind of together experience. We're responding to what our customers are asking for, and going on further stating, nobody's asking for VR. He continued stating that the vast majority of our customers know if they want a VR experience, there's places to go get those. We see those with the volumes on PC and other places. So definitely quite a few takeaways from those points, guys. It's interesting because at one point a few years ago, Xbox was teasing some kind of VR strategy. That was when they announced and unveiled the Project Scorpio, now the Xbox One X. And I did see some interest there for VR. So I'm going to open this up for discussion on how everyone feels about this. But first, I'll start with our guest, Brennan. Brennan, how do you feel about Phil's statements?
I think he is. I think he's perfectly right about this, especially that considering looking at the numbers right now, VR has, gotten pretty much, how do you say, a very low market in the past 3 years, especially, when we hear them announcing that the X will have higher fidelity VR, and that was back in June 2016, right?
17.
No, it's 2016. That was
Okay.
when they unveiled the Project Scorpio name of the Xbox One X, and that
You're right. You're
that
right.
video there,
Mhm.
where's the where that name was Project Scorpio. He says high fidelity VR, and then ever since then, the PlayStation VR came out. That was back in, I think, October 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure, and I'm not, claiming this. I don't have insider info, but I think we can pretty much guess this. Based by our observations, they've kept a close eye on it since then, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
I mean, yeah. So I think that, this is kind of, after looking through every conversation we're going through on Twitter, yeah, it's very, very heated. So, and
Mhm.
and especially talking about this right now, I have seen like an article by our, I guess our former friend Crab Gamer, that guy, who
Mhm.
posted an article saying that there's all this money that they're missing out on VR, which is $2 billion in revenue, right? For PlayStation VR. And I'm not, that's in the article, it states all the revenue for the hardware, which is, I believe, is totaled about $1.45 billion. These are money amounts from 3 years ago, since VR came out, right?
Right.
That's what
Mhm.
the article says here. This is an article that Crab Gamer posted. It's Road to VR. Headline is Pressure Mounts for Xbox's Missing VR Strategy as PlayStation VR revenue nears $2 billion. And if I'm reading this correctly here, it says, let's see here. Yeah, basically, 4.2 million units have sold since March 25th of 2019. And the article has done some math here saying that if we total the amount, first 2.1 million at $300 per unit, and then the other half of the the other half of the 4.2 million units, which is another 2.1 million at $200 per unit. Totals. Let me see if I can see that on this article here. Says we can estimate that Sony has generated nearly 1.5 billion in revenue from PlayStation hardware. And the software revenue, this one talks about software revenue as well. Sony said it sold 21.9 million PSVR games, which is on average about 7.3 games per headset. Let's see. And they also do some numbering around, but they've estimated about 30 million PlayStation VR games sold to about $15 per title. That's 460 million in revenue. And keep in mind, this is still since PlayStation VR came out, right?
Right, 2016.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I
Well-
kind of tweeted to Crab Gamer, said, I did some of the numbers myself. That's $2 billion in just the past 3 years. And if you looked at Sony's financial reports on its gaming division, how much revenue it's generated, they've generated about $50+ billion in the past 3 years. And what's $2 billion out of 50? I came up with the with this. Hopefully, it's a moniker that'll last. It's about less than 5% of all the money involved. And can you imagine how minuscule the profit margins are associated with that $2 billion? Production costs,
research.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're hoping to take the hit now, and then slowly over time it'll catch on, right?
I guess that's what they're hoping.
So, Brendan, let me respond to that. There's a reason why supermarkets carry gluten-free products in the store. So when you carry gluten-free products, there's a small amount of people, small percentage of people who actually come in and buy that, and they'll shop at your store based on whether or not you have gluten-free products. So for a company that prides themselves on options, I think the messaging that Phil gave should have been just a little bit better, because people way overreacted in this. I mean, when you hear quote unquote, nobody's asking for VR and it's isolating, he put himself in a corner, and the media and the public overreacted and they responded in kind. Now, hold on one second. I don't think he realized when he made those comments how much of an impact it would actually make. Imagine you're a VR customer. Imagine you're a developer and you heard Spencer say those words. How would that make you feel? So I think the messaging should have been a little bit better, but because people absolutely went crazy with it. Now, let's say you're on the fence about buying VR and that you're an average customer. You're going to go to PlayStation because it's accessible and because it's affordable. And it's just one more reason, Brennan, for people to own a PlayStation and for them to come and spend money on their platform. And for myself, would it be nice to have VR be compatible with Scarlet? Absolutely. We'll have to wait and see, but I think people blew things out of proportion, to be honest. So I want you guys to hear me out on this. So when Phil took over, we didn't have a lot of Japanese games. We didn't have the Asian market was relatively small. And Phil identified this, and what he did is he went to markets like Japan. He went to the EU and took a look at those kind of markets and brought those kind of games over to Xbox, because there is a market for them, even though if it's small in the States, especially in our neck of the woods. I don't know how it is in the EU, but I know there's a market for Japanese games, and he brought that to the US. And I think eventually what he's going to do is he's going to bring VR to the Scarlet. I don't think he's playing all his cards all at once. It'll be smart for him to add an option for the VR, but I think the messaging should have been better. That's all.
Absolutely.
But like I said, there's a reason why supermarkets carry gluten-free products in their aisles.
I see. The only thing is with that is there's people who are allergic to gluten. If somebody doesn't get VR, they're not going to die.
Actually, it's the opposite.
We'll just throw out.
That kind of relates to how largely inaccessible VR can be to a lot of people, especially those who are physically disabled, who can't stand up and cannot move around as much.
Right.
Even with Jim Sterling, I noticed his comments about that.
Okay.
He couldn't move around as much because he's got a herniated disc.
But listen, that's not VR's fault. It's the developer's fault. VR is the sky is the limit, and it's the developers how they develop for the actual VR unit. Has nothing to do with mobility, and you can make a game that's tailored to people with disabilities. You can. So, I mean, it's not.
Here's the problem what I have with what you're saying. Now, I agree with you. His messaging was if he could take that back, he would take that back. He definitely was dismissive of. He sounded dismissive, and you don't want to sound like that, especially when you're a tech company the way Xbox is. But from what Brennan pushed out there. I think when you're talking about a 4% margin on the most popular video game company, they have the most
on the most popular console,
right? On the most console by far. That's kind of alarming. And then you think that if Xbox did, just let me make a point. If Xbox did get into VR, it probably wouldn't even hit 4%. So now you're talking about 3% of getting it at this point. Talking about 3% market.
I think we can agree that there's possibly no marketable way for Xbox to get into VR.
Brennan,
They're way past that.
You guys are missing the point.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are missing the total point.
So take a loss on options because
you're missing the point in terms of if I'm on the fence about being a VR owner, right? I'm going to move to PlayStation and spend my money on PlayStation products as opposed to Xbox. And that 4% turns into 5%, turns into 6%.
No, it's right now it's 4%.
So you're telling me VR owners? So you're telling me that VR owners don't buy other games on their platform? That's what you're telling me.
As the hardware numbers keeps increasing, the percentage really won't change.
Okay, but you guys are missing the point. They're not.
You're saying it's one of the reasons to buy PlayStation. That might be true, but there's a lot of reasons to buy Xbox, like Game Pass, like xCloud.
Is when you're spending money on VR, you're also spending money on PlayStation's exclusives. You're spending money on their platform. So if Xbox doesn't have that option for people,
let me ask you a question. You're a business guy. If you're going to get 2.5% of your base of your buyers, is it worth it to go into something 2.5 to 3%? Let's say that they're around that.
Again, I'm going to make the gluten-free reference. There's a reason why people carry gluten-free products inside a supermarket.
Now, I'm going to have to interject
that's a bigger
here,
market,
guys.
though, man. What's the return?
It's not.
Because I'm kind of in the middle.
Kind of like the Xbox adaptive controller for gluten-free.
Well, yeah, that's something that's put in there. But what were you saying, Invader?
I'm kind of in the middle on this one, guys. And I'm sorry to interject here, but because I do understand Phil's position, because right off the bat, this generation, they got hammered for focusing on peripherals, the Kinect. So I can see why that they would want to concentrate their efforts on more traditional gaming experiences and focus on the studios, the Game Pass, and just focusing on those traditional games. And it is kind of funny that, Sony's the one focusing on the peripheral now, the VR, and Xbox is going the traditional route now, hopefully focusing on the more powerful console and having all kinds of games in their library. I can understand
too. Hopefully make them really great as well.
Yeah, one can hope, right? But just more variety, just more games out there instead of like the usual bunch. But I can understand Phil's position because at the same time, I mean, I have a feeling that the Scarlet, I mean, it should be powerful enough, I would assume, to have some kind of VR add-on to it. I mean, maybe they're holding back, guys. Maybe they just don't want to say anything right now, and that will their load in next E3.
If they were making a lot of money and VR was selling and the software was selling, Xbox would probably be in there. But there's a twofold problem here. The first problem is that the market is very small. The second problem is that Xbox, from you of all people, Jeremy, have been criticized for making games, lack of games, and high quality games. That's the first thing that they got to work on and get fixed.
I agree.
They need VR into that. Then now you got to make VR games, and that's a big thing.
They do need to make AAA games, and so far there's not really a AAA title on VR.
Well, there's not, because there's not a market for. I mean, you'll lose your ass if you're making a AAA title for VR. So, you just will. I think Half-Life will be the only game that comes out that's actually going to be a AAA game.
All right. Well, Centurion has something to say.
I was waiting. So let's put
coming.
it.
I know it's
Put it
coming,
you
Centurion,
want to
I
keep
know.
talking about gluten-free products. There's more people asking for gluten-free products than there are PlayStation VR.
Yeah,
There is more people asking for Banjo-Kazooie and Fable 4 than they're asking for VR. The downside is I would really want to see the numbers on how much money Sony has really invested into their VR infrastructure. Like, how much money did it cost them to create that technology, put it out there? Because Microsoft's going to have to do the same thing. And if they're going to get less than, because right now PlayStation's sitting about 4.2% on how many people have adopted the technology. And if Microsoft's going to get less than that, you know, even from a business standpoint, I don't care how much money you got in the bank. If it looks like something that's going to end up costing you money, it's kind of worth it to take a step back. Yeah. Because obviously, let's look at it as, I like to think the consumer has a brain. I hate the term of sheeple. You know, I hear a lot of people try to, you know, that whole idea of like, oh, the consumers are like sheep. Anybody who's into gaming knows that the most premium VR experience is associated with the PC and headsets like the Oculus and the HTC. PlayStation is actually considered one of the worst VR units because I have been inside one of those things, and I'm going to tell you right now, when you can see the lines of the grid of the LCD, it looks like you're staring at a 720p image through a screen door. I'm sorry, but to me, that was one of the things that kind of lit right up on me, was the image quality wasn't there. And most of the games are tech demos. Like this holiday season, me and my wife stood in front of a PSVR. It was $200. I really, for the first time in this generation, contemplated buying a PSVR. And then I walked over and bought a hard drive for my Xbox. So that's where it was just, I know. The funny part is the only games that were very appealing to me in that entire collection was it came with Skyrim and Resident Evil as part of the collection.
Amazing. Yeah,
but I already own them for my Xbox. So at that point, I'd just be like, you know what? I'm not going to continue throwing money at games that I already own, even though it's an experience. I've experienced PSVR. Me personally, with the knowledge that I have in my head, I would rather go out and buy a unit for my PC and play that exclusive Star Wars VR, because I heard it's only on PC. I heard it's not available on PlayStation.
It is. It's exclusive to PC. Correct.
Exactly. That is the one game that has made me really want to pick up a VR for my PC, because I'm a big Star Wars nut and I obviously want to play that game. And that's where I look at it, like, no matter what, the consumer is going to know, if they're informed, that PSVR is actually not the creme de la creme of VR. It's kind of like an entry-level VR for somebody that just wants to have the experience. And even then, and define affordable, because you're like, let's look at it this way. If you were to buy both these devices on a Black Friday deal, PS4 plus the VR, you'd be $400 in. So most of the time people are complaining about having to pay $300, $400, $500 for a console, and you're going to have to pay $400. Like the cheapest entry level point for VR on a PlayStation is basically $400.
And that's nothing compared to PC when you're
it's not. Yeah. Cause the new one coming out of Valve is like going to be $1,000.
Oh my God.
And the barrier to entry for VR does not stop with cost. It of course has to do with your physicality. Remember, a lot of disabled people can't play VR, but also you need the space for it, and the exclusive content for it, of course. And each game has their own different mechanics involved with what you can do with VR.
This isn't something you just pick up and play. Like I walk over to my TV, turn on the Xbox and play. With a PSVR, you got to get the pass-through box out. You got to hook it up. You got to hook up all the peripherals to get the PSVR working, whether you're going to play on a controller, the sticks, whatever. So there's actually some setup time involved, and I've even heard people make jokes that by the time they get the thing hooked up, they don't want to play VR anymore.
Right, the older unit doesn't pass HDR. Listen, I think it's just safe to say, and I think Jeremy brought it up. Phil chose his words poorly, and he, you have to be a little bit, I think even he would
A bit sensitive.
Yeah, I think he should have been more sensitive to the situation and not dismissive, because you got to realize people look at Xbox and Microsoft as a huge tech company, and when you're being dismissive of a technology, that's not a good thing. And I think he answered that on a tweet. He had realized, he said that's fair feedback, and for him, I didn't think he just meant it that way. I just felt that was just a poor choosing of word. Basically, I think that if the tech gets to a point where it gets popular and the game starts selling and it's a little more fleshed out in certain ways and a little more simple for console, I think that Xbox could possibly get into it. But I just think, like you talk about it, if you're going after a 2.5 to 3%, and you got to research and R&D, and Xbox is not popular like PlayStation is anymore. I can understand why they have trepidation, and they also have other problems that they have to grapple. And listen, I'm all for options. A lot of people are like, well, Xbox is supposed to be about options. There's a point where that comes to, you know what I mean? You can't put yourself at a financial bind just to offer an option.
Absolutely.
I do have something. Okay, go ahead, Downer.
How much of a financial bind is it really? I'm not talking about a full-fledged VR unit Microsoft makes, which they already have, in the
I was going to get into that. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm just talking about adding something in back of the Scarlet to where you can hook up an Oculus or a HTC. Something along the lines of that.
Go ahead.
No,
you finish first, Tim.
No, I just think that would require Oculus to do that to agree on that, and also that could be viewed as a half-assed attempt to do it. Maybe they should do a third-party option. That might be the best idea.
Yeah,
but again, it's
I would say the third-party option is best because it's all been proven that HTC and Oculus do it better. So why would Xbox want to invest all that time and money and research when they could get somebody? Because haven't they cooperated with Oculus before?
I believe on a particular product. On something they did. Yes, I forgot what it was.
Maybe for some other venue. I just want to point something out. What Clarence Flynn said something on the chat. About 10 minutes ago, compatibility with Samsung VR headset would be awesome for xCloud. What I'm trying to figure out here is I don't know if this is a possibility, because right now I'm thinking what is compatible. You can only play the PlayStation VR. You can only play PlayStation, the headset itself. The proprietary hardware only on PlayStation. You can't use HTC Vive or the Oculus Rift on PlayStation, right?
No.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like, kind of makes me wonder, does Xbox really do need to have a proprietary headset for it to work?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, because I know there has to be a solution, but I really don't know if it does work. Because if PlayStation has their own headset, I really don't know if everything else will work on Xbox. Because
in the opening statement that you made, you referred back to Phil's comments that he made regarding his 2006 E3 speech. So, me personally, I believe that he said that knowing that they've already done research and development behind it, because Microsoft and Xbox, they don't say things just to say things. What I mean? There's planning into it. So I guarantee you that they've talked about and spoke about regarding development for VR.
I know. I mean, I've said this to people that that they were lying at that very day that when he said it. I don't think they were. I think they were serious. I think they just took a leg back, sit back, observed everything, and just thought that's not really the right direction. But I mean, one idea I had was that, game streaming is big for Xbox right now. And
It's not big.
you can
It's gonna be
use
big. It's not big right now.
well, it'll be big. Yeah, that's what I mean to say. And all of the game footage goes to your phone, which, your phone is like the VR headset that you just already bought, because it has all these motion capabilities for VR on YouTube or even pornography. So
Jeremy likes that.
Hey, that's the reason why I bought one. Come on, guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we know the stuff that you watch, Jeremy.
I mean, this could work, but I know there's something wrong about this. There's something about it. I'm just not thinking about it right now.
Well,
Because I know that I know PlayStation VR. I know PlayStation VR has certain processes. I forgot what it was that makes it a unique device. Apart from the Vive and the Oculus Rift.
Hey,
I think.
let's be real here for a second. That 5% of PlayStation owners bought that VR. 2% of them bought it for porn.
Maybe, just maybe.
Which is that? Yeah, that's the best way to do it. But yeah, but man. But I just don't know. That would be the best way to do it. I don't know if it'll work.
Yeah.
Now,
you can take that. Oh, hold on. You can even take that into a place where there is space. Have that little separate contraption that you can just put your phone in there, slide it, and then the display is on there.
Jeremy had it.
Jeremy, yeah. Well, I have one too.
Yeah,
I have one too. Although I don't think my phone fits.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's funny, when I bought my PlayStation VR, Rand got his PlayStation, so I gave him my account information, and he has all my VR games tied to his PlayStation Pro now. So.
Yeah, he threw up the first time he played it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Clarence Flynn says, "I plead the fifth."
Now, guys,
No.
Sony's Shuhei Yoshida had posted a comment following Phil's comments, and he said, and I quote, "We oftentimes work hard to make things that no customers are asking for them." What do you make of his comments? He's kind of throwing a little shade on Xbox and Phil.
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that
hold on. Has he made the Xbox adaptive controller?
no, he
That's
has
a product nobody want.
No, but
No.
my point is that he definitely took a shot at Phil, and I think Phil has to realize that this is. I sometimes think Phil plays too nice with the competition.
Yeah.
That's just a wake up call, because he always spoke well of Yoshida, and and for him to take a little bit of a shot, that was a shot, and it wasn't really Yoshida was a big backer of PlayStation VR, so I mean I can understand why people got upset. Like I said, it was poor choice of words, and it comes with the territory. But Phil has to realize that this is a business, and Sony really isn't. We could say that we're all going to come together, but it's a business at the end of the day.
Oh, come on. I'd hate for him to be so mean to Shu. He's a nice guy.
I want blood.
Let them fight.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say Phil should say anything, but I do think that I think that he was taken aback probably by that comment, because that was definitely take off the gloves and slap you in the face type comment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know that his comment, burn me at the cross, whatever the hell you want to call it, but that almost came off as kind of ignorant to me, because there's companies every day that make products that nobody wants and they go out of business. I'm sorry, but PSVR is the most God, what's what I'm looking for? Sony used to be the benchmark.
The most niche product.
Sony used to be the benchmark for technology.
Gimmick, perhaps.
Sony used to be the benchmark for technology, for ingenuity, advancing technology, all sorts of stuff. I remember like when they created Blu-ray, the HDNA, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, Sony decides to start, I don't know what they're doing, but here's the funny part. OLED was created by Sony. Now OLED is completely taken over because LG perfected the technology, and they are completely flooding the market with some of the best televisions known to mankind right now, using technology that was originally proprietary to Sony. Yeah. So basically the PSVR is one of the technologies that they've come out with that they're still kind of throwing money at, but at the same time, what company brags about making a product that nobody wants? Because that's the telltale sign of somebody that's like, we've put a lot of money into this, and at this point we're so invested that we can't back out. So that, it's just, I really don't know how to I'm just in shock that somebody would brag about making a product that nobody wants, because again, at the end of the day, you want people's money. You don't want to put something on the shelves just for it to sit there. And it just completely blew my mind.
That has nothing to do with the product itself. His statements were more of like, hey, this is the reason why people go to PlayStation and not Xbox. That's exactly what he meant by it. And I know. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, we're talking about a company that I don't care. I still remember the back of the days of the PS3, go out and get a second job. They have an elitism mentality. They believe gaming needs to be exclusive and expensive, where Microsoft has been trying to kind of reverse that process of, we want everybody to be included in our ecosystem, no matter the platform they choose, and we want it to be affordable. Like, look at it this holiday season. Stubbsy over there in the UK picked up an Xbox One S SAT
Digital
edition. For 129 pounds. That's actually pretty damn decent. That's about 150 American, which what they were selling them for here. That's a pretty low entry point for a console right there. And nobody's not talking about that. Microsoft has been trying to get people more invested in the ecosystem by making it more affordable and putting it on more platforms, where Sony has been trying to put up wall after wall, and they get criticized for it. And they'll sometimes drop a wall to let people in here, with cross-play now starting to become a thing, and they're starting to include some service titles.
You're looking at a small percentage of people who listen to us and listen to the gaming industry in general. To an average customer, they don't hear all that background noise. So then when they go to the store and buy a PlayStation, they see one thing, and that's the games. And that message is lost in all the internet hoopla and Twitterverse and, all that stuff. That goes away to the average consumer.
Well, I mean, that's what I think Xbox is what, he also alluded to being focused on is games. In 2020, they might not be the biggest games, but they're gonna be stacked, and then and beyond that, these studios are gonna start to pump out big games, all types of games, and it's something that they need to do. But if they put VR in this puzzle, forget about it. I think that would be a bad thing for the studio.
How about I told you earlier in the show, I'm a big Black Friday fanatic. I love keeping up with it. This Black Friday, I saw more stuff geared towards Call of Duty, Fortnite, other multiplayer games and multi-platform games. Where the hell was Death Stranding? Where is there Their exclusive single player game that is supposed to be God's gift to mankind right now. I didn't even see one advertisement for it.
Kojima's game is tailored to a very specific and small market. It's not a game for the masses. I'm telling you right now.
Well, I don't think it's small market, but you're right.
People are buying these consoles because they don't want the exclusives. They're wanting to play these multiplayer games, and they just know PlayStation is the most popular console.
Yes.
That's it. They don't know. They don't walk in knowing that Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War and all these other games are like, you know, basically the best exclusives on the market.
Yeah.
They know PlayStation makes good games, but they probably couldn't even tell you a Metacritic score if they wanted to, let alone some of the reviews.
Most people, we're in the minority.
There is some truth to that, Centurion, because when you walk into the store and you see the real estate soaked up by Sony, when you go into a Best Buy and they have a lot, they pay tooth and nail, and they pay a lot of money for real estate inside these stores like GameStop and Best Buy.
I noticed it right now walking, like we'll use Kohl's for example.
Right.
And if I want an Xbox t-shirt, I have to buy it exclusively through Microsoft.
Yep.
But you go into GameStop, Kohl's, freaking Walmart,
Sony.
you could buy Sony merchandise anywhere all day long, swag, all this stuff. I mean, they are really everywhere. And that is something that Microsoft, I will agree, has really got very relaxed on. I'm hoping that this coming generation, the Scarlet and the new consoles, they're going to change their tune, because I already see kind of like hints and signs for it. Gears 5 got Dave Bautista. We had the marketing rights for Jedi Fallen Order, which is pretty much the game of the year for anybody that has played it. And they don't care what Jeff Keighley and what he's got going on over there, excluding it out of it.
Centurion, have you noticed how the marketing, the TV marketing for Xbox has gotten a lot of, basically Sony-esque?
Oh,
have you noticed that?
Dude, even though Ghost Recon Breakpoint was not a great game,
right?
Who did Microsoft get to help advertise that game? Lil Wayne.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in. That's what I mean. All of a sudden, we're seeing celebrities in Xbox commercials. I have seen more Xbox marketing this year than I have in a long time. So that's why I see something. I see something coming. They're basically waiting, biding their time. They probably have a huge war chest somewhere just waiting for next generation to come around. And at that point, they're just going to start flooding the market with everything. Like, you want to hear something crazy? For the first time ever, because I had to buy a Christmas tree for these things, my wife bought me Xbox Christmas tree ornaments. It completely blew my mind. I'm like, how the hell did you find these?
Nice.
So I think what's going to happen when Scarlet comes out is, again, Phil's not playing all his cards at one time. He's playing it very slow, very methodical. And what's going to happen is he's going to come in at a lower price point, being the most powerful system on the market. And he's going to have the games to back it up with the infrastructure to prove it.
Yeah, it's like a slowly but surely thing, right? Because we've seen them do like little increments. They had a Game Pass, they've done certain systems, and we've been starting to see this take place. Everything's kind of taking shape. They've been buying these studios, and like you said,
Invader, I really think he's taking it personal too. I think Xbox is not his baby. It's not his baby. I'm sorry. Xbox One is not his baby. The Scarlet's going to be his baby. When that comes out, and that he's gonna go all out, all hands on deck.
And very recently, we know they've been doing this whole misinformation campaign. They've been deliberately spreading false information to basically find out who's talking to who, and also to throw Sony off their game. So what if Phil Spencer's like, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to say we're not doing VR. I want to test the waters. I want to see how many people are interested in it. And I want to just basically piss everybody off to get all this hype and just kind of see exactly who's interested and make them think we're not doing something.
I think there's some truth to that too, because when the X came out, they did a few adjustments to enhance the system based off what the cards Sony was dealing at the time. I think he's being a little proactive and reactive at the same time on what Sony's doing.
Absolutely. And really, I want them to have a strong start going into next generation with the games, and a strong focus on the key things that really makes a strong console, which is the games. Maybe we will see some kind of iteration, some kind of third-party support. We'll just have to wait and see for VR for Xbox. Right now, these comments are just very interesting. But I'm going to move along here, guys, and we're going to continue with our VR talk. And hey, do we have any Half-Life fans here? We kind of mentioned it before. And oh, really? All right, perfect. And a week or so ago, a new Half-Life game was announced by Valve called Half-Life Alyx. And it's set between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, and it's a VR game. I'm a huge Half-Life fan. Well, Half-Life 2 anyways. I really enjoyed that game, and I've been waiting patiently for a sequel. Anyways, the game is compatible with Steam VR. It's compatible with the headsets like the Valve Index, HTC Vive, Windows Mixed Reality, and Oculus Rift. Now, since the announcement, Valve has been selling out of its VR headsets and accessories in both the USA and Canada. So, guys, what do you think about this announcement? Because I'm sure most Half-Life fans would have preferred a traditional gaming experience. However, you know what? I will say that the game does look exciting. I've seen the trailer multiple times, and it does look good. And it seems like it's going to drive some hardware sales for Valve.
Can I interrupt and just because you two came out and said you guys are Half-Life fans, you and David, right?
Me and Brennan?
I mean, Brennan. I don't know where I got David. My bad. No, I've been saying the name David all day long, making that article. I am so sorry. So Brennan, David.
Brennan.
So okay. Anyways, how about this? Really, I want your first reaction when you heard it was gonna. I'm pretty sure they got everybody pumped up. Oh, they're making another Half-Life game. Everybody got excited. And then exactly what was the first thought that ran through your head when you found out it was going to be VR based?
Well, I'll take this first. And look, I'll admit I was definitely disappointed. I'm sure a lot of...
That's the point.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know why you're going to make an exclusive VR game, because you're going to literally try to cater... You're going to try to make money off an already niche market, and now you want to go to the most nichest niche of that market.
Absolutely. Brennan, you said you're a fan. What was your reaction to the announcement for Half-Life VR?
I don't know. I think that just means I won't buy it. Maybe. Yeah, no, most likely not. That's what I mean to say, because I don't have a VR headset. I'm not planning on buying one, unfortunately. So I don't think I have the space for it. So I think that'll be the only Half-Life game I'll pass on.
Now, it's interesting because we don't really see too many companies use their IP, like their big IP on the VR. Now, it's just very interesting that Valve would take Half-Life. Everybody's waiting for a sequel, Half-Life 3. Everybody's like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. Valve's just kind of making money off of other things, and all of a sudden, bam, just out of nowhere, Half-Life Alyx for VR. And it seems like it's really going to drive their VR. I mean, it is selling out. It's just a matter of how long can they keep that up.
I like how they say it's selling out. We had 5 in the warehouse and we sold them all.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just wanting to point out that everybody loves Fable, and when Microsoft came out, like, we're making Fable Legends, it's going to be on Kinect. Moment they said that, a lot of interest was lost.
Oh, right, the Fable. I played
Fable
that.
Legends or whatever. Yeah, you played that, and I mean, you even said that it was going to be an awesome game, but obviously Lionhead kind of messed up a lot of things, which really put a lot of nails in that coffin. But one of the biggest hurdles that they had to overcome is people really lost a lot of interest for that game because it was going to be really made to push the Kinect. And there wasn't really that many Kinects out there. And that's why they started putting them in the box. And that's when they found out people didn't want to buy a device like that. And it just went downhill.
Fable the Journey. That was actually
Fable Journey. Yeah, sorry, Fable Journey. That one game that got failed.
So that in itself is a bad example. You're talking about apples and oranges. And there's going to be people who will go out and buy a VR headset just for Half-Life and spend a lot of money doing so in the process. So, a couple things that are going to be 100% sure. That game's going to be amazing. and it's going to be probably the best experience gaming has to offer. I really believe that. I don't know, that trailer looks amazing. I think the experience is going to be amazing.
Anthem's trailer looked amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm just saying they've got a lot riding on this because this could really make or break the Half-Life franchise.
No, I don't think they're investing that much money into it. It's not going to be like the Half-Life that came out, a few years ago. It's not going to be a project like that. I think it's going to be a shorter version, a smaller version of Half-Life, tailored to VR, a VR experience.
They said that they wanted it to come out to like a 16, 20-hour experience, if I remember some of the articles right. They wanted it to be a full-blown, full-length game.
Oh, wow.
Something like that, yeah. Whether I believe that or not.
Well, that was like with Rise. They were doing the same shit with Rise. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I remember that game all.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. It was supposed to be a fully tailored Kinect game, and then they're like, well, apparently Crytek wanted to, would talk to them like, hey, we have this idea for a more adventure-based game, and they toned it down just for the Kinect elements. Actually, that kind of worked out for them in the end, considering the backlash. So could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But now this is only slated to come out for like PC and like a lot of different third party. But do you guys think that there's a possibility we could see this on console? Because as we're just saying, we're talking about the PSVR. Is there a possibility we could see it on the PSVR?
I guarantee you, Sony is knocking on their door right now, trying to get a version of VR on their system of Half-Life. I guarantee it.
Well,
and if Sony lands that, that'll be huge.
Now, do you think it's going to be a VR timed exclusive? Sorry to interrupt, Tim. Doc.
No, go ahead.
I'm just wanting to ask. I'm wanting to know how long they're going to hold out in making that little bit of money before they're going to port it over and make it a full blown console game.
I think that might be an issue with Half-Life, Alyx. Usually, if you look at certain games this way, if a game can just work without VR, then there may not have been any point to it. I mean, if they are going to make a Half-Life 3 and there's no VR with it, then the only purpose VR has served with is only with Alyx. Just like with Fable Legends and the Kinect, they were just going to go back to making a traditional game until it got canceled, of course. And then it was just going to be back to a controller and mouse and keyboard, the traditional way to play games.
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting because Valve and Sony, they do kind of have a relationship going back to like the PS3 days. They had some stuff going on with like Portal 2 and some relationship there and some Steam integration. So I'd be curious to see, I could totally see Sony, as Jeremy was saying, knocking on Valve's door and being like, hey, we have this.
I promise you it's happening right now. I promise you.
Yeah, I mean that there's something right there. They're the only console maker to have a proper VR headset, regardless of quality. They're the only ones that have that right now. So, I mean, if you have something as big as a Half-Life brand, I think you would see some people drive towards that for that experience, just to have that Half-Life experience, because people have been waiting for that.
And again, that brings me to my point. If I see two stores and one store is carrying gluten-free products and the other one's not.
Oh, shut up.
I don't think that comparison works anymore.
No, it does work, because let me tell you why. People will go buy a PlayStation just to have Half-Life on their system, and they'll move over to PlayStation because of it. I guarantee it.
Well, let's get to step one and have Half-Life on the system before we even say
I'm not going to abandon my library of a couple hundred games.
Gluten-free is the Xbox adaptive controller. The controller is basically what do you call it? What is it?
All right, next topic.
Gluten bread, and the VR is basically the bouquet.
All right.
VR is basically a piece of garbage. Let's go on.
Buckette.
All
I
right,
mean,
guys.
Buckette.
Here
I
we-
don't mean that.
I guess we've been
I don't
VR'd
mean
out.
bouquet. That's a bundle of flowers. A baquette.
Well,
That's the hard bread.
Jeremy likes the bouquet, so
Well, he'll have a bunch of VR adoring fans waiting for him showering him with flowers at the end of the show.
yes.
But we will move on to our next topic. That is not VR related, I promise, guys in the chat. And by the way, guys in the chat, who do we got here? We got Clarence Finn, Other Zinc, Supersonic Station. Thank you very much for joining us. Shizno Elite, how are you doing, buddy? Dageeki Nerd, Matt Jones. Hey, I hope you're feeling better there, bud. I know you were getting your teeth pulled out there. Who do we got? Lofty 83, Nine Lives. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. It's been a fantastic show so far. And moving along here. And there's been an interesting rumor going around about Rockstar Games' next title. And popular thought was that they were working on GTA 6 or maybe Bully 2, but perhaps that's not the case. Somebody had spotted on a Rockstar India LinkedIn profile that a responsibility for creating modular environments with organic finish carefully following medieval architectural style. Now, there's also been little tidbits here and there dropping about this game being open world, having sword fighting and dueling mechanics. And supposedly this game isn't far off from being announced. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think Rockstar would tackle a medieval setting? Or do you think it's more likely we'll see a GTA 6 or a Bully 2?
Listen, I'm just gonna go. I heard the rumors are strong, but if they're not making a GTA 6, they're the most moronic company ever. They have probably the most anticipated game of a generation, easily.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would make some medieval game. I know that some insiders or wannabe insiders on certain forums are saying that they've heard that it's real. If it's real, that's fine, but they better be having a GTA 6 in development because it just doesn't make any sense. GTA 5 and online through this generation and last generation sold over 100 million units. If they do not make a sequel, it's just doesn't make sense.
I'm with. What if people aren't like accepting of GTA 6? Like, I understand it's like one of the most sought after games, but it's just one of those things where people just all of a sudden be like, I want to go back to Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, that game is a straight cash cow. It's just one of those things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I know they make a lot of money off that, and they were hoping to kind of capture lightning in a bottle once again with Red Dead Redemption 2, and then all of a sudden Red Dead Redemption 2 actually didn't take off the way they thought it would. So definitely, I don't know. I'd be on, if I was at Rockstar, it'd be one of those things of, do we really want to mess with something that we know is working right now?
So you're referring to the cash cow that's GTA Online, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So Take Two caters to their shareholders, and they're going to do what their shareholders tell them. And I guarantee you, they're working on GTA 6 right now. I guarantee it. And you know, it's one of those things to where they can give you GTA 6 with a different storyline, different characters, and add that GTA Online with different features, and then make another cash cow. They make so much money, billions and billions and billions of dollars off fucking GTA Online. There's people that spend, six figures. No, not six figures. I'm just joking, but a lot of money just exclusively on GTA Online. So
can you see it breaking off as, like, we'll just say Grand Theft Auto Online becoming an MMO, and then GTA 6 being its own standalone thing?
No, they're going to incorporate both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Well, besides Red Dead Redemption 2, which came out last year, we've only had a re-release of GTA 5 early on this gen, and I don't know, I think the timing is right for a new IP. I mean, maybe it's not so a year, closing on a little bit now. Maybe the time is right for them to announce something.
Once in a while, they do, these projects. I'm talking about Rockstar. You'll see the table tennis game they made on Xbox back in the day, which was fairly good, but obviously it was a one-off. You see them make these types of games, so there's a possibility that they could be working on that medieval title, which could be a Witcher 3 killer, in the works. Who knows? But we'll see. Just a rumor right now. Strong rumor, Tim said.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Brennan.
Yeah, ever since GTA 5 came out back in 2013, they hadn't made another original game until Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018. It's like they had huge droughts in between of making games. And it's like, I'm amazed that Rockstar, it might be, I don't know, one of the few companies that have released only one game this entire generation.
Well, to be fair, though, they did release a huge game.
Yeah. That's all they need.
Definitely. And I really need
They're sitting back, maintaining their servers, Brendan, collecting fucking money. Mm-hmm. Why would they want to stop now? And
it just makes too much sense for them just to make a GTA 6 and and then have the online, the same thing, just an upgraded online.
It might make sense to just release new games.
I don't know. I don't listen. You're talking about 100. You're talking about the most sought after franchise ever. 100 million sold
in the States. In the States, yes, it's the most.
It's just 100 million units sold.
Yeah,
it's still selling. So I mean, if you could come out with a next generation GTA 6, screw the money, screw anything. Just as a gamer, that's what you want. I mean, imagine having a next generation GTA. GTA is still to this day one of the best games going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I gotta ask in the chat, guys, do you like medieval games? Because I happen to love them personally. I don't know about the panel here, but games like, I'll just give an example, Kingdom Come Deliverance, I think it's awesome. I like the realism and the story drivenness. It had like really nice combat, very unique game. I really appreciate that with the historical aspect. Games like Assassin's Creed have also tackled it in different areas, and I just think it would be nice to see exploring more of a medieval world. I mean, if there's any setting I could see the Rockstar tackling, I think they could totally do a medieval game. Have these.
Oh yeah, they definitely towns. Have the talent to do it. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. They could create these open worlds with these towns and fortifications, do knights jousting. Like, even just talking about it, I'm getting really excited, even at the prospect of it and just the things that they could possibly do. To me, is just, I don't know. I think it'd be a worthwhile idea, but I understand what you guys are saying, because why wouldn't they want to make the next cash cow, right, with GTA 6?
Right.
Yep. But that's just me. Let me know in the chat how you feel about this, because, hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind something new from Rockstar. I'll admit I'm still working my way through Red Dead Redemption 2, but, it's a lot of game. We're gonna move on now, guys, and so obviously it's the end of Thanksgiving, and this weekend we've had all kinds of sales across the board, and whether it be Black Friday, weekend sales, or hey, Cyber Monday, right? Has anybody here made any Black Friday purchases or planning to still nab any sales?
I got Sekiro, Borderlands 3, and Ace Combat 7 personally for the Xbox from the store. And then I went to Black Friday. I went to some Maniac Best Buy store. I immediately sent my nephew to sit on the line that was across the whole entire store. And I bought the Galaxy earbuds. I brought my one of my best friends $149 Sony headset wireless, and nice. I bought my nephew NBA 2020 for 2K 2020 for Xbox.
Nice. Tim, you're gonna love Ace Combat. It is a fantastic game. Like, it's so much fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it. I mean, I have it on XCloud, but I wanted to try it on the OLEDs.
Invader. I spent a ridiculous amount of money on Black Friday games, digital content.
Oh,
Now
Yeah,
we're
I bought-
bragging.
please do tell.
Oh my
What did you
God.
nab?
I got Call of Duty. I got Phoenix Wright. I got the Lego game, the villains. I got Hitman 2. Oh my God. What else? I got sheesh. Let me see here. Spyro, Sudden Strike, Atlas, Streets of Road, Fate to Silence. Just a ridiculous amount of games.
Wow.
A Metal Wolf Chaos XD. I got Ghostbusters Remastered,
Ooh.
Borderlands, Control, Code Vein, Rad, which is excellent, and a few movies, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Well, since we're over here bragging, let me see. In the month of November, because Black Friday actually is now spread out, I've
Yes.
gotten Mortal Kombat X, the premium edition, and then I also
Nice.
bought a buddy of mine just the regular standard version for his birthday. I've gotten, oh my God. So physically, I got Mario Party, Medieval for the PS4 because I'm always a platformer fan. I got Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Man of Medan, or whatever that one game is.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And then
That is a
digitally,
good game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of everything I got digitally. Oh yeah, I bought Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, so that because I've played them all except for that 1 and 3, so I got to finish
Right.
those two. Let me see. I also bought. God, I have too many damn games. My backlog is massive. I also got Hitman, the Gold Edition. I got Just Cause 4, the Complete Edition. I know it's a Game Pass game, but I wanted all the.
Hey, that was
DLC.
cheap. That was a nice price.
Yeah. I also picked up Battlefield 4. That was one game I missed, and for $10, I was like, "What the hell? Why not?" That's
Yeah.
when I get a lot of older games too. So no, I bought a grip of games, and then I'm also a physical media whore when it comes to DVD, not DVDs, Blu-rays, and HD,
Nice.
4K Blu-rays.
How many do you
so-
have?
Oh God,
The
probably.
the UHD ones. Curious.
I definitely have over the UHD ones is definitely in the hundreds. Like right now, I'm
Nice.
probably sitting on 600-700 actual physical discs.
That's awesome.
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I don't know why I prefer. I don't care what anybody says. When you try to stream 4K and then all of a sudden somebody down the road decides to do something that messes with your internet signal, yeah, I prefer to watch my movies straight from the source.
Yeah, I hear you. It feels like you have something too.
Oh,
as
yeah.
opposed to thin air.
Well, yeah. And also, I went one time where my internet went down for 3 months because of the streets department out here hitting a cable line. So I lost my internet for 3 months. Could you imagine if my
Ooh.
entire library was digital? I would have flipped out.
Ooh.
Ouch. I
Good
really
thing you have
feel
a
you there.
backup on your phone now, the hotspot.
Because I am American in the UK, I do have an American bank account. But the 4K Blu-ray discs are more expensive than buying them off of the Microsoft Store, which is the only store that's working to stream 4K movies out here, because Vudu doesn't work out here. Amazon is region locked. I've tried using VPN on a lot of other services, and they know you're using a proxy server, and
Now-
they just lock you out.
Sorry to interrupt you, but what are you using to watch Voodoo? Because
I'm not watching Vudu.
oh, okay.
No.
For example, it's whether or not a company wants to update the fucking app for it to work. It's just one of those things where
Well, no. I mean, so I can easily purchase 4K movies that are just $20 a piece or $25, for a new Disney, Marvel, Star Wars movie, compared to 30 to $40 of physical 4K discs in my store. Oh, well, in the store that I go to. And somehow I can be able to stream 4K movies to where I live on my Xbox.
I never pay full price for a 4K movie. Hell no. My cutoff limit is $20, and that's like buying Avengers. But the funny part is, on Black Friday, I got Avengers Endgame on 4K for $8. I mean, so that's what I mean. I really do my math on where I'm going to spend my money, and definitely I do. The funny part is I buy barely any movies throughout the year because I hate the prices of them. Most of the time, if I want to see it, I'll get it then. Otherwise, I'm waiting until about this time of year when everything's cheaper.
Absolutely. Now, I got Call of Duty Modern Warfare on Amazon. I got for about like 25 bucks off. So, yeah, definitely a nice little sale there. I've been wanting to get Call of Duty for a while now, get back into it. I haven't played a Call of Duty since Ghosts, actually. So, been a while. And I gotta say, I've been playing it, well, the past couple of days, and I've been enjoying the heck out of it. Jeremy, did you say you picked up Modern Warfare?
I did. Yeah. Good
Nice.
game. Campaign's nice.
Yeah.
I still need to try it out. I also picked up World War II because I wanted to play it for the campaign.
Yeah, I saw you playing that. It looks pretty cool as well.
I'm actually digging the campaign. I
great.
knew I would eventually buy it just to play the campaign just because I'm a World War II fan. But no, I bought also Modern Warfare because I want to play the campaign, but I also want to play online with you guys.
Yeah, let's do it. When do you want to play tonight?
I haven't even downloaded it to my hard drive yet.
Oh, come on, Centurion.
It's a lot, actually. It's like 150 gigs.
It's still in the plastic right here on the table.
Dude, the Xbox One X version is 133 gigs.
Yeah, it's it's massive.
Dude, and remember when Quantum Break did that and the whole world flipped out?
Well, that was tied to the video content. Video content alone was like 75 gigs.
Okay, well, Elder Scrolls Online is also up there for that kind of like gigabyte space, and that's a massive living, breathing world.
Yeah.
Gears 4 is 116 gigabytes, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, hey, we're dealing with massive game sizes now. Just imagine going into next gen, right?
Hence why I bought a bigger hard drive.
Just so you know, I haven't bought anything on Black Friday. I don't usually go Black Friday shopping.
Come on!
But I'm thinking about buying Ace Combat 7.
That's actually a good game.
It's a very good game. I highly suggest it. Like, it's there's not too many like fighter combat games out there, and it is really good.
I mean, I just bought the Elite 2, so I'm just happy right now.
I held an Elite 2. I thought about it.
Go get it.
Well, there you go.
There's nothing wrong with my Elite 1.
Get it.
There's nothing wrong with your Elite 1.
Well, before the Elite 2 came out, my Elite 1 broke after 4 years of use. So it was time for me to upgrade.
See,
and that upgrade felt really good.
Yeah, I found it sitting on a shelf at a Best Buy, just sitting there. I was kind of shocked. It didn't even have one of the little security devices on it to make sure somebody couldn't open the box. I was kind of shocked. I walked around the store with it for a minute or so debating, but then I was like, no. Put
that in the back pocket.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to fit that in my Yeah, maybe back in the high school years when I wear Jankos, I could have probably fit that in my pocket.
Janky.
I got around to using the paddles in the back of the Elite controller, and they feel better on the Elite 2. Yeah,
they are. They were engineered. We had David Preen, and he was talking about how they were different and they were laid out.
No, so the Elite ones were a bit loose, but the Elite 2 feel a bit firmer because I know that I placed my my original Elite controller on the couch, and I've set my paddles to the A button, and it just kind of assigned to both A and B, right? So like if you pause the game and you put the controller down, it unpauses the game.
Yeah, you know, I heard you could use the.
But
Elite
when I got the
throw it
Elite
on your
2,
face.
what's up?
You could throw the Elite 2 on your face, and it's VR.
And not to mention all the button customizations.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
personally, I like the rumble feature next to my balls, but that's another story.
Wow.
I love the shift key on the V2 though. You hold a paddle. Well, I've set the shift key on a paddle. You just hold it, and then whether you I seen a real stuffed pony for auction. Nothing. Supersonic Station distracted me a little bit.
He does that.
Yeah. But anyways, you can set. It's like the shift key on your keyboard, right? If you don't have the shift key on and you press S, you got lowercase s, right? And you hold shift, you got capital S. You can set your buttons.
You just blew my fucking mind right now. I never knew that.
Yeah, you can set your buttons now to different buttons with the shift key now with the V2.
Wow.
Now, guys, I'm going to move it along now. We're getting towards the end of the show, and it's time for a really fun topic. Canceled games that we would love to see come back, brought back to life. Because sometimes there are games that get announced, it catches your eye, and then for various circumstances and reasons, they don't see the light of day. Maybe a developer closes, projects get put aside for others, or just a lack of general interest in the IP. So, guys, what canceled games would you like to see make a comeback?
Scalebound.
I knew that.
Oh my god.
I knew it.
Yeah, I want Scalebound in VR.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I've always wanted that. It's been something I dreamed of. And when Phil took it away from me, I cried.
Yeah.
You know what? Screw this VR thing. I just want a HoloLens. I want my whole coffee room table to be an experience.
We can probably pull up some old video of them trashing Scalebound before it got canceled.
Okay, so this is my take on it. I would want to see Kojima's Silent Hills come back.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
So yeah, oh my god, this
the one that was canceled, right?
That demo was the scariest demo game I've ever played in my life, bar none. It was scarier than any movie I've ever seen, and it was an amazing experience. Can you imagine that in HR?
Yeah, I agree. That's a great choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want. For me, it's the Star Wars 1313 game that was shown.
Oh yeah, Tim, good choice.
Yeah, that game. Oh, yeah, people still go back to that, and that was a single player game, you know. And then EA was talking about not wanting to do single player games, and oh look, you know, Respawn comes and they make a really awesome, highly rated single player game, Star Wars game. So took them long enough to realize, right?
What about the old? There was a rumor that the Xbox game was coming out, The Legacy of Kain: Dead Son. You remember that?
I remember the series.
I'm sorry. Supersonic Station says HoloLens isn't for gaming and it's $2,000. You goddamn right it isn't.
Oh, Supersonic.
If you have watched Iron Lord's podcast, it's like, you know, HoloLens is already out there. King David was all like, you can just go buy the HoloLens right now. It's already out there. And for $4,000, you can get the HoloLens and just go right along with it.
All right, Brandon, I'm gonna use that shift function to mute you now on this podcast.
But you know what, guys? When it comes to games that I would love to see brought back, do you remember Prey 2? There was a cinematic release back in like 2011, and it was a sequel to the 2006 Prey.
I do remember this.
And it was like in some kind of like developer turmoil. Like it was originally set in a city, kind of like reminiscent of like Red Dead in a lot of ways, where you have to like there's bounties on certain alien targets and you have to capture them. And it looked really fun, and it looked like something I'd really enjoy. It has a bit of like an alien noir setting they were going for that looked pretty cool. And I was upset.
What game was that?
Prey 2.
GTA 6.
Yeah, Prey 2, not the Prey that came out a couple of years ago. This was drastically different, and I don't know, it really caught my eye, and I was upset when it got canned. It was being made by Human Head. Now I believe they're defunct and got formed into a different studio altogether. But Prey 2 looked like fun, and I was kind of sad to see it go away because I was really excited for it. Centurion, is there any games, canceled games you would like to see brought back to life?
Being canceled, the funny part is the only ones that really come to mind would be Fable or like Scalebound, that was jokingly said earlier. But does it really have to be a game that's canceled? What if we're talking about like an actual canceled studio that got shut down?
Sure.
BioShock?
I want to say Visceral Games, Dead Space.
Oh yeah.
No,
So that's,
You're
that
touching
was-
your heartstrings right there, buddy.
Irrational Games. Irrational Games did BioShock.
You know, if we're talking about VR, could you imagine a Dead Space game done in VR? Those corridors, just like that claustrophobia and stuff. That would be insane.
That would be insane.
It would be.
Nobody would buy it.
You know what? If they were to come out with a legit, full-blown Dead Space game on VR, I think about that time they'd probably maybe have me hook, line, and sinker outside of Star Wars.
Mhm.
But that's what I mean. It needs to be something big. That I mean, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just weird, but that would be what it would take to hook me in.
You know what was a great underrated scary game that few people beat and played? Alien Isolation. That game was fantastic.
I beat it.
Oh, what'd you think about
It
it?
is fantastic.
I loved it. I thought it was a different take. Like, you know, it was actually hunting you the way that it was set up.
Did I ever? Was it here that I told you guys how the AI worked for that alien in the game?
No, how?
Something about two AIs, right?
Yeah, the alien is powered by two artificial intelligences.
Wow.
It's the head and the body. The body always knows where you're at, but the head only has hints to where you're at. But that's where it has to see. But basically, the head is the determining thing that it has to find you. But that's why it always felt like it was always right behind you and always knew where you were at, was because the body would take it to the general area, but the head would have to finish it up.
That was probably the most terrifying game I've played to date. Where there was, I mean, literally, if you had your speakers up, it scared the shit out of you.
Oh, there's a good game in the chat too. Fear. That was fun.
Oh,
Yeah, Fear was great.
Fear's
Great
good.
call on the chat on that one. That one, yeah, with that sick girl.
Oh,
girl.
Alma. No, there's all kinds of franchises I like to
Who
see.
made Fear? Was it Tech? Id? Was it Id? Who made Fear? Let me check.
Fear was
Monolith.
Oh my
Studio.
God, yeah, Monolith
not
Studios.
It's
Yeah,
Monolith.
Monolith. It's Monolith. They made the Condemned series too.
That was that game. I wish that game would make a certain
comeback.
games for me came to make a comeback. Of BioShock, Half-Life, obviously, and Fear would be also a really good game. Be a good Xbox exclusive. They could get something behind that.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Xbox exclusives, I do have a canceled game. Yeah, this was an exclusive announced back in 2005, made by Mistwalker. It's Cryon. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Japanese JRPG being made by Final Fantasy creator Hironobu Sakaguchi. And
Say that 10 times fast. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I was interested in that because I do like fantasy romanticism a lot.
What the hell's that?
Oh, it's kind of like how would you say? You know, goth, right?
Goth, like you
That's
dress
it's-
goth. Like,
Yeah, it's like a subset of the art stuff, the artistic sensation of romanticism. It doesn't necessarily mean like a love scene. It's just the aesthetic style.
yeah,
What
Jeremy's
I'm
into
talking
that.
about. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a Studio Ghibli movie.
Like
you
a
know.
porn, like a porno.
With Miyazaki.
Dude, this
is so into
podcast
that.
I can't even probably count how many times the word porn has been said on this podcast.
Yeah, Jeremy
Well-
would be into it. Megatron, Southbound, you name it.
Yeah.
Most widely used activity for VR.
Yep.
Definitely.
I don't know. Apparently, people are using their Christmas trees this generation for some jokes on that one. Have you guys seen that stuff going around on the internet?
Oh, I seen those memes.
I mean-
Oh yeah.
People basically taking photos with their Christmas trees with some kind of porn in the background, or is it, yeah, like I mean, and it's very off-putting because like
I gotta
Salt-
check it out.
dude, Salty put one out where he said I
That
don't
was
know if it was his,
fucking
but
hilarious.
he put one out. I don't think it was his exact Christmas tree because I've seen the same photo on Facebook, but it said finally got my Christmas tree up. What do you guys think? And like the tree looked awesome, but in the background on this random table with this random television on it, I mean, it's so random. You got like some topless chick with her back to you, so you don't see nothing from the front, but she's sitting on the Grinch's lap. And this is just on the TV screen. You're like, what the hell?
Jesus.
All right, guys. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna wrap this one up.
Thank fucking God.
Really fantastic show tonight. Definitely.
I'm not making you comfortable, am I, Jeremy?
You make me real comfortable, baby. In fact, if you were here right now, I'd give you a back massage.
Oh,
Ooh.
I told you something was going down in Montana.
good.
Well, he is near the mountains.
Come out to Montana.
All right, we definitely had a nice back and forths and very lively discussion with the whole VR and whatnot. And a big thanks to all the wonderful people in the chat for joining us tonight and tuning in live. Clarence Flynn, Supersonic Station. Who else do we got here? Shizno Elite, 9 Lives, Michael Monkey Punch. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. You were all great. And if you happen to enjoy us rambling about video games, then share this sucker out and leave a comment afterwards. Also, don't forget to check us out on various podcasting apps. The links are down below. Brennan, thanks for joining us tonight. It was nice having you on. We hope to see you at further shows in the chat. I hope you enjoyed being here. Where can listeners follow you on?
It's been a pleasure. Yeah. Great first time. I really enjoyed it.
All right, perfect. Is there anywhere people can follow you?
Oh, Pat, my Twitter handle is at Packy Brennan. So at capital PACKY, capital BRENNAN.
All right, perfect. Thanks for joining us tonight, my friend. Now on to the panel members outro. Centurion, where can everyone follow the Arizona Bad Santa?
Oh God, here we go. I know. But you guys can all find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Xbox Live at Centurion1307. I'm always kicking it here with you guys on this fine podcast on Sundays. I'm also on Saltiest Gaming Podcast with Saltiest Gamer on Thursdays, the Shop Podcast hosted by PTK Blam on Saturdays. And I'm also starting to create content both for BG4G Hub and the IronLordsGaming.net or lordsofgaming.net. There we go.
Good stuff.
I'm all over the place.
Like me.
You're omnipresent.
Definitely. Now, Jeremy, where can everyone find the Downer? What social media?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at LoneMasterWho07. And remember, boys and girls, VR is isolating.
It's not communal.
But Jeremy, what about your porn? Come on, man. Tim, good stuff. Putting up the gloves for Xbox tonight. Where can everyone follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter, xCloud Tim Dog. And I'm on this podcast every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, and also on RDX, 8 p.m. Tuesday night Eastern Standard Time. So you can shoot me over there, listen to me over there, and yeah, shoot me in the head over there. Okay. All right, that's pretty much it. And Jeremy smells.
I love you, brother. Good night.
No arguments there. And of course, guys, I'm Invader. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Invader_1986 and my YouTube channel, Invader Gaming. Again, thanks, guys. It's been a great show. We hope to see you next weekend. We hope for another lively chat. Take it easy, guys, and have a good night.